the lights to work, all you got to do is grab the key and turn it to the on position, right? And as soon as you turn it to the on position, all your lights will work. Well, they want you to check them, and you got to check every single one of them. So the best thing for you to do is say, hey, ask them, can you please help me check my lights? Because if you don't ask them for help, you got to hit the switch, you got to go over there, look at the light, make sure it's working, come back, change the switch to the next light, go over there, make sure it's working, and you're going to be wasting a lot of time, right? But if you simply say, hey, can you please help me check my lights? They're going to help you. The person that's grading you will help you. Tell them, we'll start with the front lights. And they'll just walk to the front of the truck, and they'll stand right there. And you just tell them, hey, look, I'm going to turn on the left one. And you turn it on, and if it's working, they tell you thumbs up or okay, it's good, whatever. And then you move to the next one, and they're helping you, you know? It makes it faster. So, we got to close the hood. Once you close the hood, you're inside, you turn the key, switch to the on position, you just tell them, hey look, I'm going to turn the left turn signal on, go ahead and turn it on. Just make sure they all work. Now the left turn signal, not the headlights here, turn off the headlights. You want to do one at a time, guys, so to make sure they check everything. Left turn signal, is it working over there? Alright, right turn signal. Alright, four-way flashers. Alright. Now, since it's the same switch that controls the clearance and the headlights, tell them I'm going to go ahead and turn the clearance lights and the headlights at the same time. And just turn it all the way right there. And everything should be working, clearance and headlights. And now that you showed them the headlights, tell them I'm going to go ahead and flick the high beam on to make sure the high beams are also working. Just kind of click them and let them go. So everything's working, right? So that was the examiner that was helping you guys. You asked them for help, they helped you. Okay, hey, now can you help me check the back ones? And they'll go to the back, and you're going to repeat the same process. Left, right, four ways. The only thing different back there is that you have to hit the brakes for the brake lights now, right? And you do that, and you turn the light switch on, and the tail lights come on, the license plate light on, everything. When they check that all the lights are working good, all they're going to do is they're going to come around the other side of the truck, and they're going to jump inside the truck with you. They're going to sit down in the passenger seat right next to you. So once they get inside, the first thing that you want to do is you want to show them, you want to turn the truck on. So show them how you're going to turn this truck on. Tell them, look, my key is already on the on position. And if you look right there on the side, you can see that it's showing you that it's in neutral, right? You see it right there? Yeah. Okay. So that's the first thing you want to do. Look, put the key forward. Don't turn it on. Just say, hey, look, at first I want to make sure it's in neutral. I also want to pull on these parking brakes, the truck and the trailer, to make sure that the parking brakes are set, they are applied, they are on, because I want the truck to move. And then I'm just going to go ahead and hold my brake down, the brake pedal down, the service brake pedal down, and then I'm going to go ahead and safely turn my truck on now. And that's what that's that engine start that they want you to explain to them how you safely turn a truck on. And once you do it, go ahead and turn it on. Once you turn it on, well, now everything's going to work on the inside, right? So now you tell them, now I'm going to go ahead and start doing my interior inspection for you that you want me to do. So go ahead and turn it off right now. Go ahead and pull that key out. So over there, you're going to have the truck running already. So what you want to do is turn the AC on, close the doors, the windows, so it's quieter. Remember, they're already sitting next to you in the truck. So this is where you're going to go ahead and start this interior inspection. And it's all right here on the bottom, guys. The seat belt. You're going to check the seat belt. Look, I want to make sure my seatbelt's securely mounted, it's not ripped or torn, that if I pull it across the other side, it does adjust to my body, that I do grab this latch and make sure that it locks and unlocks to check that it's working. If it's not frayed or ripped or torn, also, you know, now that I'm done with the seatbelt, I want to go ahead and check my mirrors. And look, we don't have that stick in our hands because we're sitting in the truck already. So you got to keep pointing, because this is where most people tend to fail the inside, is that they don't point at the parts because you're looking at them and you're assuming that they're looking at the part too. But the instructions said to do what? Point or touch the parts. And if you don't do it because you're just sitting there, well, they're going to fail you for that. So say, look, I'm checking this driver's side mirror, and you point at it. I'm checking that passenger side mirror over there, and you point at it. And what I'm doing first is First, making sure that all the mirrors are adjusted to me, because I want to be able to look out every single one of these mirrors. And also check that they're not cracked or broken or loose, anything like that. That they're clean. And then the same thing with the windows. I'm going to check this driver's side window. I'm going to check that passenger side window. I'm going to check this windshield in front of me. I'm going to check this window behind me, this back window. I'm going to check them all, you know, that they're not cracked or broken, that they are being secured with all the seals that are holding them in place, that the seals ain't damaged because I don't want any leaks anywhere. Check that the windows don't have any illegal stickers on them or any obstructions that are blocking my view. That's what you want to tell them. Once you're done with all those, well now, if he looks right above his head right there, he's got the air horn. I want to make sure that my air horn works, and you just give it a little pull. It's working. Check that my city horn works. You blow it like that. It's working. I also want to check that my wipers and the washer fluid works, and you would just hit the switch for the wipers and washer fluid, and you will see that they'll come on and that they'll squirt real quick. And you know, and if you didn't get it to squirt, guys, don't worry about it. As long as you told them, hey, look, I'm just going to make sure that the wipers work and the washer fluid works. Make sure that the wiper blades are not dry rotted, the wiper arms ain't broken or loose, they are applying enough pressure where they're cleaning my windshield. And that's all you got to tell them. Huh?
I did B.
Yeah, but we're not doing B.
Oh.
See? We're doing A card.
Oh, it's still A.
Yeah, this is all A card. Remember, I did A card. I'm saying I'm doing A card. He's telling me the door is part of B. I didn't get card B. I got A, and I was asked to do the front to the tires, the coupling, and now just the inside, so I don't have to check the door. So now that we check the horns, we check the wipers, we check the washer fluid, you got to check the light indicators inside your dashboard. You showed them that the lights were working outside. Well, every single light that you turn on has a little indicator on the inside, right? Like the left turn signal indicator, you got that little flashing light, right? So tell them, look, I'm going to check to make sure that my left turn signal indicator is working. Go ahead and check it since you're sitting in there. You see it? There you go, see? If he wouldn't have put his finger on it, she wouldn't have counted it for him. Look, this is my left turn signal indicator right here. Now I'm going to check to make sure that my right turn signal indicator is working. When you turn it on and the little light starts flashing, this is my right turn signal indicator. Now I'm going to check my four-way flasher indicator lights. It's these two right here, and you keep putting your finger on all of them. I'm going to check the high beam light indicator. That's the blue light that comes on right when you put your high beams on. So you'll see it flash, the lights are on. Just flick it back and forth until you see it turn on. It's right there. This is my high beam. And tell them the only one I cannot show you is the ABS light indicator, because my truck is running, and if that ABS light were to be on right now, that would mean that something is wrong with it. But nothing is wrong with it. That's why it's not on. So you just tell them that, and you just covered all your light indicators. Now it's time for you to check the gauges. Right there, if you look, you have the oil pressure gauge. You have to tell them three things. One, first, when looking at the oil pressure gauge, when I turn the truck on, I have to make sure that I see the needle rise, because normally that's a sign that the gauge is working. The second thing I have to do is I have to pay attention to where the needle stops, because it has to be showing me the correct operating pressure for the truck. And the third thing is I have to look on the dashboard to make sure that there's not a little warning light on, indicating that something is wrong with the gauge or the oil pressure itself, you know? So that's it. You're done. You just talked about the oil pressure. Now you move on to the water temperature or the coolant or just the water temperature gauge. Same three things. I have the same three things. I have to make sure I see the needle rise. I have to pay attention to where the needle stops, that it's showing me the correct operating temperature for the truck. And I also have to make sure that there's no warning light on for it. And then now the voltmeter, which is the battery gauge, the same three things. That the needle moves, that it stops, where it's showing me the correct operating volts, and that there's no warning light on for that one. And then the air pressure gauge, that one is different, guys. That air pressure gauge is over there in the middle. That one has two needles. It has a white needle and it has a green needle, because they are representing the primary and the secondary tanks, okay? So you don't have to worry about all that. I'm just letting you know that you're going to see two needles in. But So tell them, look, when I'm looking at the air pressure gauge, if the air pressure is low when I turn it on, the warning light is going to be on, or it should be on, to let me know that I have low air pressure. And it's going to be on if it's somewhere in between 0 and 60. Okay? Once it starts filling up more than 60, I'm just going to keep watching it, make sure that it's at a stated pace. You know, that's a good sign that it's working right. When it gets to about 120, somewhere in between 120 and 140, I have to start listening to make sure that I hear the air governor cut in and out, to make sure that that is working. And if you heard it or you haven't heard it by this point, don't worry about it. The explanation is all that matters here, okay? So, and that's how I would check that air pressure gauge. Make sure that if it's below 60, the warning light is on. As it's filling up, that it's steady. And when it's over 120 to 140, that I hear the governor. So only those 4 gauges, guys. The oil, the temperature, the volts, and the air pressure. Nothing else. Don't worry about the speedometer, the fuel. They're not on the test. Just the 4 that I'm telling you. Over there in the middle, you got the controls to the defrost and the heater. How do you turn on a defrost, guys? You turn it to the defrost setting, right? So that's all you got to do. Turn it to the defrost. Where's the air gonna blow? On the top, right? So tell them, look, for the defrost, I got to put it on this setting, and I got to reach my hand over the top to make sure I feel the air blowing out of those vents. That's how I check my defrost. For the heater, well, that one I got to turn it to the red and put my hands in front of whatever vent it's on to make sure that I feel hot air. That's simple, right? That's all you got to do. And if it's really hot, you don't even have to turn them on. You just got to tell them, hey, I know it's hot. I know you don't want me to turn this heater on, so, or if you do, just let me know. But if not, I'm just going to give you an explanation how I was checking, and that's it. Most of them will tell you, yeah, don't turn it on. Just tell me how it works, how you check it. So, once you're done with that, now it's time to check the parking brakes. Well, you have a parking brake button for the truck, and you have a parking brake button for the trailer. If you look inside there, you have a yellow button, which is for the truck, and the red one that's for the trailer. So to check those, you have, the truck is, remember, the truck is already running, but you have to make sure that you have full air pressure before you try to check them. Full air pressure is anything over 120 or more. So right now, I'm gonna go ahead and have them turn it on. So he can fill up the air pressure. So if you ever do hear it at any part during this test, as soon as you hear it, you can even stop and say, hey, look, you heard that noise just down there outside the truck? That's the air governor kicking in and out. And they should do that somewhere in between 120 and 140, and you can just tell them it right away whenever you do hear it go off. So right now, we're going to do the parking brake test. We just filled it up, right? Because I said you have to have air pressure filled up. What you got?
Go ahead, bro.
So,
test the air pressure.
You doing the Class A or Class B?
I'm doing A.
Class A? Okay. So right now, we tell them we're going to check the parking brakes, the truck parking brake and the trailer parking brake. So we just filled up the air pressure to 120 at least or more. Now it's time to check the brakes. So yeah, go ahead and turn it 2 times to the right. All right. tell them I'm gonna check the truck parking brake first. So I'm gonna leave the yellow button popped out. I'm gonna push the trailer brake in, which is the red button only. Push the red button in. I heard that noise back there? We just released the brakes on the trailer. So the trailer can move, but the truck shouldn't. That brake on the truck should be strong enough to hold it from moving right now. So tell them, my truck parking brake is on. I just took the trailer parking brake off. I'm gonna put it in gear and I'm gonna try to move it. It shouldn't move if the parking brake is working. See how it ain't going anywhere? That means my truck parking brake is working. Now I'm gonna check the trailer. So I'm gonna pull the red button out and I'm gonna push the yellow button in now because I'm gonna check the truck off. I'm just leaving the trailer. Let's go back because right here when you do the trailer, guys, it does move a little bit because there's a little bit of slack in there, but it's not gonna be very much. Look, just, you got it in gear? Just take your foot off of the brake. See how it just jerked a little bit, but that's it. That brake is stopping it already. So if you feel a little jerk, it's okay, it's gonna happen. There's slack there, but that's it. The trailer parking brake is working, it stopped it. Now, you're done checking your parking brakes. Now you have to check the service brake, which is the brake pedal. For that one, well, you have to move the truck to hit the brakes to see if they're gonna stop or not, right? So tell them, look, hold the service brake down. Tell them I'm gonna check the service brake to see if it's working. So you put your foot on it to hold it, put it in gear, take the parking brakes off, and push both yellow and red button in. Grab the steering wheel with two hands, tell them I'm gonna hold the steering wheel with two hands, and we'll tell them now, look, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna move it up to 5 miles an hour. When I get to 5 miles an hour, I'm gonna apply the brake again. And when I apply it, the truck should stop right away, and I shouldn't feel any pulling in the steering wheel. Because if it moves from side to side, that means that the brakes ain't adjusted correctly. So you don't have to move at 5 miles an hour, you just tell them that. All you have to do is take your foot off, it's gonna take off, and stop it right away, that's it. Service brake worked, right? You let it go, you pushed it, and it stopped the truck. Huh? Yellow is for the truck and the red is for the trailer. So, right there. We just checked the parking brakes, now we just finished checking the service brake. Now, you're gonna continue with the rest of the stuff you got in the truck. You have your emergency equipment in there. Tell them I gotta make sure I have all my emergency equipment. I have to make sure that I have at least 6 pair of fuses in the truck. And if you look in there, you're gonna see a little clear box with fuses inside. Right there, look at it. You just show it to them, say, hey, look, I got my 6 pair of fuses. There's a red box, you point at it. That one's got the reflective triangles. Tell them, you just go, look, this is the red box that has my reflective triangles inside. There's 3 of them inside there, which I already checked. They're not cracked or broken. They're in good working condition. And I also have 1 fire extinguisher in here. You just point at it. It's being secured inside this box right here. And, yeah, you don't have to pull them out. You don't have to even do that on the test house. You just got to tell them you have it in there. That's it. The fire extinguisher. Just point at it and say, look, this is a fire extinguisher which is being secured inside this box. I just got to look at it to make sure that it's full, up to date, that it has a safety pin in place, that it's not damaged or leaking. And that's what you check on your emergency equipment. The fuses, the reflective triangles, and the fire extinguisher. Now, this is where most of them try to get you. Hey, are you done?
What's up?
No?
No.
Why?
I gotta do my air pressure test.
Because I gotta do my air brake test. That's the most important thing on the interior, guys. That last section right there. This is where you're gonna actually start doing your air brake test. And it is part of the interior. If you say, yes, I'm done, you just did everything that we would have just done right now, just to fail right here, just for saying that you're done. No, I'm not done. I have to do my air brake test. So, what you got?
What's I want to ask? When you start the air brake test, before I push my 2 buttons in, do I take the truck off? Or when I take the truck off, then push the 2 buttons in?
Chalk your wheels. Just say, look, the instructions are right here, guys. So Look, start the air brake test. Chop your wheels. So all you gotta do right now is just get out of the truck. Leave it running. Just get out of it. Remember, there's somebody sitting inside the truck, right? And they like the cold AC. So don't turn it off. Just get out. And get out the correct way, just like that. 3 points of contact. Holding on to everything you can. We don't have the wheel chocks. The DPS provides them for you. You'll see them over there next to the truck somewhere on the ground. They have a bunch of them. You just got to go grab 2 of them. You grab your 2 wheel chocks, and you can go to whichever tire you want, whichever one makes you happy, guys. If you want to chock that one, if you want to chock this one, it don't matter. You grab one of those chocks, you put it right here. You grab the other wheel chock, and you put it back here. Like that, is not going to roll forward or back, right? You got those blocks in there. Once you do that, you just got to get right back into the truck, and look, it says right here, build the pressure up to 120.
So that wasn't part of the air test when you were taking the brake?
The what now?
That wasn't part of
that was the parking brake test, and that was the service brake test. This is the actual air brake test. There's 3 different air brake tests. So, now that he chocked the wheels, it says build the pressure up to 120. Are you built up to 120? If it is already, all you got to do is let that examiner know, hey, look, hold on, give me a second. As you can see, look at the air pressure gauge. It's already built up to 120. All right, what you got?
That sound that we heard,
That's the air governor.
that was to let us know is that 120
That
already?
it's filled up more than 120 pounds.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so right here, he just said it's filled up. So you just turn around and tell him, hey, look, as you can see, look at my air pressure gauge. It's filled up to 120, and you tell them that. Okay, now what does it say? Turn off the truck. Place the key on the on position and push both brake knobs in, the brake buttons, guys. That's all you gotta do. And remember over there, you blocked it so it wouldn't move like this, right? But I don't have them, they have them. So. But you don't hold the brake, you don't do anything, it just telling you, just push the buttons in. 3 things, turn it off, put the key forward, push the buttons in. So now the truck is ready. Now you're gonna start the actual test. Look over here. Check for leaks. And the way you're gonna check for leaks is by holding the brake down for 1 minute, and you should not lose more than 4 PSI in 1 minute. Because if you lose more than 4 PSI, that means you do have leaks. So that's if you're here for an A license. If you're here for the B license, scratch that 4 out and put a 3 there. And you would check for 3 pounds on it. Okay? So you're telling them, I'm gonna check for leaks. I'm gonna hold the brake down for 1 minute, hold it down. I'm gonna make sure that I don't lose more than 4 pounds. So when you push the brake, y'all heard that air? That means that you just leaked more pressure. So you just gotta look at where the needle's at, guys. It might be at 100, it might be at 95. It don't matter where it's at. Where it stops, that's where you're timing the 1 minute from. If it's on 95, well, 4 pounds, we can't get under 91, right? So he's running his minute right there and he's checking it. While you're holding that brake, guys, don't wiggle your foot, don't do anything. You gotta keep it steady there, because if you wiggle, you lose air pressure. If you push too hard, you lose air pressure. All you gotta do is just put your foot on it to where you're holding it, and that's it. Don't try to choke it down, just put it on there, that's it. We still got about another 10 seconds, okay? So this whole time you're looking at the time, and you can use your cell phone just like he is, or your watch, whatever you bring. All right, 1 minute, right there. That's good. So you take your foot off the brake, and you tell them, okay, look, as you can see, I didn't lose more than 4 pounds of pressure. My truck don't have any leaks. That's it. That was step 1. Now step 2. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to check for the lower signal light to come on. So I'm going to pump the brakes, and the light should come on before the needle reaches 60 pounds of pressure on the gauge. So just start pumping it and make sure that the low air light turns on. Did it turn on? There it is, right? Now look at the gauge. Did it turn on before 60? Or right at 60?
Already got.
So it's working, right? So that was step 2. Now step 3. Now I'm going to check my emergency brakes to make sure that they're working, you know? what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna keep pumping on the brake, and what I should see happen here is I should see the yellow and the run button pop out by themselves, somewhere in between 20 and 45 pounds on the air pressure gauge. So you tell them what you're gonna do. Now you just start pushing on the brake and just stare at the buttons to make sure they pop out by themselves. That's it. Pump it. Get on those brakes. Both of the buttons popped out. Okay, so now you stop pumping and just look at the air pressure gauge. Did it happen somewhere in between 20 and 45? And then that means that that's working too. So that's the air brake test, guys. That last step right there. Because now if they ask you if you're done, well, look at the list. Didn't we just cover everything? They told us to do everything from here to here. They asked us to do the coupling devices from here to here. And then they said check the lights, the engine started, the interior inspection. Because that was a Card A. That's all they asked me to do, right? So that's all we did. We didn't check the trailer. We didn't check the side. Because it wasn't part of the test. That's why I said not everybody here is going to get the same test, guys. It all depends on which car do you pick at the beginning. This is a Card A test. Go ahead and turn that key off and you can jump out of the truck. So, right there, guys. Once they ask you, are you done? And